Hey guys, it's a pleasure to be here with you on the MVP Days. I'm Jorge Maia, Principal IoT Consultant in Grace Tech Labs in Brazil. We are doing some big projects using IoT and data, and nowadays we are using a lot of AI and cognitive services also. And I'm here with Armando, a good friend. Armando, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey guys. So my name is Armando Lacerda, and I'm a senior BI and Azure consultant here in the Bay Area in California. I work for DesignMind. Sorry, I work for DesignMind, a consult company here in the Bay Area, and we work with some big companies here implementing BI solutions, machine learning, and big volumes of data, including IoT.
And today we want to talk with you about IoT. We like so much the idea about IoT is a good opportunities for devs and for DBAs also. So
Yep.
we have a lot of work to do, and we believe on the multidisciplinary teams. So we are here to talk a little bit about that.
Yep. IoT has evolved in the past years, right, George? And some people are still thinking about IoT as just a device connecting to the cloud and leaving the data there. But there's so much
Yeah.
more opportunities, especially for DBAs and devs, to get the data after it arrives from the sensors. And we really want you in this presentation to highlight these opportunities where you can get more insights from your data.
Yeah, good. Let's go.
Yep. Let's click here. Move on. There we go.
So to do a little warm up for our talk, we want to talk a little bit about what is IoT. So Internet of Things. Internet of Things is a term coined in 1999 from Kevin Ashton. And the idea on the presentation he done on that date is to provide some intelligence, but it's not using the term intelligence. He's connecting some stuff in a market for the web. So using our RFID, he's mapping some products and put this on the web. So connecting things. I usually say that IoT is not only connect hardware. I believe hardware is the small part of it. Our idea here is to connect things. Yes, we have to. I believe this is the beginning of the IoT. But the most important part is now security, privacy, and then the data that we have to use. So doesn't matter you have a product and I send, oh, some people is looking for that, some people is buying that, some people is taking it from a place for another place. Okay, what I should do with this data, what I can do with this data. So I believe this is what matters today. And now we have a lot of good stuff to handle with that. This is a good product. We usually say that, oh, IoT is just a hardware. No, IoT is just a useful thing. I believe yes, but now we have the first phase of IoT, that we have some GPS on a pet, and we can track this pet. I believe this is the simplest device that we can have. We have a GPS.
1.0, right?
Yeah, maybe. We have a hardware connected. It sends some data to the cloud, and we have a dashboard maybe. Oh, my pet is inside a fence, it's outside a fence, and I generate some alarms. Oh, he's on the yard, he's inside the home, and he's good. It's okay. But I believe this is too simple when we talk about IoT. When we go to some clients here, we talk about, oh, what do you need? And all of them said, oh, I need to do something with the data that I already have. We have some industries here that they have CLPs, they have a lot of good stuff, they have a lot of data, but they done nothing with this data. This is the problem. It's not only go create another hardware, connect it to the cloud, use use a platform, for example, the IoT Hub, and okay, I have the ingestion, but what I should do with that? So
that's when we work with the data, and you may store it for historical reasons, but you are only dealing with the real-time data, right?
yeah,
Not plain historical analysis.
yeah. This is a good example, Armando. A 70s front door camera, and now nowadays device. So what's the main difference between that? I believe both done the same thing. Both done the capturing the image from the door and send it to another thing. So I have the same approach on that. But on the right one, we have maybe some intelligence on that. I can understand. For example, Amazon today are producing cameras that can understand that the guy from Amazon is outside the house, and it opens the door with a locker, and they put the things inside your home. So
Yep.
it's a good idea for using intelligence on that, and we have this in our fingers right now. On Azure, for example, if you have some stuff connected to IoT Hub, you have good endpoints that you can use a lot of good stuff to do a lot of things with this data. So using cognitive services, storage this data, put on data lake and search this after. We have a lot of good stuff. And we have good opportunities on that. Good opportunities not for only the hardware guy that we've seen in the past. Now we have some devices that already exist, and we have opportunities to develop new softwares, develop new solutions, analyze this data, make some predictions. Oh, I can enumerate a lot of things here. Armando, you
And
can
choose where these things are going to be done.
yeah, yeah. And this is the main simplified architecture. I believe we can talk about IoT. There is things in one side, a fog in the middle. This is a good approach nowadays. We talk about put intelligence on the edge. So we have IoT Edge for do this. It's perfect. We have SDKs for a lot of languages to do that. We can take intelligence on the edge. For example, if you are in a factory, you want to detect some patterns on that, on the line of production, you can use some machine learning or some other algorithms on that. And you don't have to be connected, synced with the cloud. You can do a sync after time, for example, if you have problems with connection and these things. Then you put this on the cloud.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. And we have this problem in a lot of places. Here in Brazil, we have some areas that are in the shadow, and you don't have good connection. You can believe in the connection a lot of times. And now we are using the edge on the endpoint, and do this in the field. So it's a small simplification of the architecture, that we have things on a side and interface on another one. It's the 1.0 that Armando told us before. You have a device. The device is connected to the cloud. It sends some data, and you see in the app in your smartphone. It's good. I believe it's good, but it's not the future. It's not the present, because you don't want to have a lot of apps in your smartphone when you come home and, oh, now I want to turn on the lights. Now I want to turn on the TV. Now I want to put the temperature of the home. It's not good. You don't want to do this. The main idea is that this device talk each one with another one and say, oh, Armando is in the house. Which temperature he prefers? Oh, let's turn on the TV or not. Beth is on the house? No. So what we have to do, and they take the action. So I believe this is the next era of the the IoT.
Yep.
And here is a reference architecture that we use when we are planning some projects to connect it to the cloud. So we have devices capable IP or not. So you can use some gateways. You can understand the gateway sometimes are the fog computing. So it connects us to a cloud gateway. In our case, we use the IoT Hub for do that. When you plan some big projects and you want to have a template, for example, you can use the IoT suite. You have now 4 or 5 templates on that, and you can have prediction, you have factory, you have a lot of good stuff over there, and it's ready to go. You just plug the device and all the dashboards is already done, and this thing that is the data processing, analytics, and management of this ingestion of data, and these devices also. Because sometimes you have to twin the device, you have to manage this device, it's working, it's not, you have to do an update over the air or not on that, and this is the problem that you can manage, and the IoT Hub, for example, is doing this very, very well. And this is another opportunity when we talk about it, because the developers are connected to this world. So when you talk about IoT Hub, when you talk about Azure Functions, for example, it's a good thing that developers can handle it. You don't have to have engineers doing that, the hardware engineers. No, hardware engineers is just doing the edge of the IoT. So here we have the whole thing, the whole architecture about IoT. We have a good reference, and you can put names on that. So IoT Hub over here, and you have some presentation and business connection on the end.
Yeah, and the opportunities are not much on this left side here, like you mentioned already, right, George? This one here is tables, reference, the implementation.
And sometimes, Armando, it already solved on the field, because when we go to the factory, for example, you already have hardware, the connection, and the whole stuff, and you have to produce intelligence on that. You have to ingest more data from that.
In this area here, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
This is a simple example. When we talk about the things, everybody thinks of something about, oh, I have a sensor, I have a LED, I connect it to a device, I ingest this data, and this is all. This is all the stuff. I want to store the data. Okay, I put a stream analytics here and make a small query and save it to Azure storage, for example. Or, oh no, I have some data, I have to do some predictions and states of that. No, I can use the machine learning connected to Azure Hub or to IoT Hub or to stream analytics. Maybe it's the simple part of it. Another thing is, oh, I want to see data online and real time. I can use, for example, the time series insight and connect it to an IoT Hub endpoint, and voila, I have data. I have graphics. I have dashboards. I have heat maps. It's working. No problem.
It's the state your communication channel and insights how they're talking to each other.
Yeah, and it's easy to do. I believe it's not it's so complex and I have a lot of things to do. No, it's hours to do this in scale. It's not so complex.
We don't have to attend a trainee job at NASA to do that, right?
Yeah. But the type of data, I believe, is changing a little bit. When we talk until now, for the last slides of this presentation, we are talking about send data to the cloud, send sensors to the cloud, send small portions of data. So we are talking about telemetry data. And we can put this on IoT Hub, and it's working very well. But now we have some stuff. For example, we have a project here that we are taking some images, some pictures from stores, from real stores, and understanding the customers of that stores. And we have a lot of pictures, and we have a lot of sound, and we can capture the sound and see, oh, what they are talking to the cashier. They like the experience for buying on this store or not. And this is the new era of the things. When you have cognitive services combined with the telemetry things, because I don't like the experience to buy here. Why? I don't like, and I'm getting out. So this is a phrase that we can listen on the store. Why? Why that? The store is too hot, it's too noisy, it's too crowded. What's the problem? And we have a lot of sensors inside it, and we have to combine this and take the result of that, to take a decision and say, oh, I need more space, I need more air conditioning, I need maybe to talk not too loud, and I don't know. I have to take some decisions to change this environment, and to this environment is more pleasurable for the customers. And this is the new era that we have to take a look. And if you just listen this slide, we are just talking about data, not about hardware. Don't mind if I have a camera, if I have a microphone, don't mind about that. It's only data, right?
Yeah.
And now, talking about different type of data, I have to store.
Different storage, right? Possible storage.
Yeah. And we have Cosmos DB, or we have SQL Server sometimes. And you have Azure Storage to do this. This is the back end of the solution, right, Armando?
Yeah. And here's the thing, when you're collecting data from your source, in this case is the IoT Hub that's providing the data, I think the next slide is going to talk more about the Azure functions, but we have seen a lot of people not choosing like SQL Server has an endpoint to store the data due to latency. Actually, when we presented this at Ignite, right, George, back in Orlando, there were some people in the audience that came with the questions, and they're like, SQL is kind of slow. I lose data when trying to store it to SQL. And even Power BI, some people complain that, like Power BI doesn't give the throughput that I need. And of course, there are limits to all of that. There are thresholds to all of that. But just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a customer of ours here in the Bay Area, and they were very frustrated with SQL Server because they are getting a lot of latency getting data out of SQL Server. But the opportunity here is to learn what the product has to offer and the new features for it, or the new features in it, I should say. One of the things is you can successfully write in a great throughput, of course, depending on your network infrastructure, but in high speed, you can successfully store data into SQL Server if your tables are already using the memory optimized technology in SQL Server. Because the main problem with SQL Server when you try to keep up with the pace with data coming from the IoT streams is the locking feature. Sorry, my throat's 7 in the morning here, so I'm still warming up. But it's the locking mechanisms that regular tables have to follow in order to keep data consistent. But in SQL Server, we have this thing called memory optimized table where you can write in, just to memory. It doesn't involve disks. So is pretty much writing your IoT streams to memory. And from memory, as long as you have enough memory on the server, you can do a cached saving to the hard drive, so you can analyze this thing later, or even analyze the data as it flows through into the memory optimized table. So all the delays we have in SQL Server for regular tables can be solved with that. And of course, we have all the NoSQL technology like DocumentDB. There used to be DocumentDB, now is Cosmos DB there on the icon. So you can keep the data in the cloud, and you are flowing data within Microsoft's data centers, which also improves performance.
An important thing when we talk about data and IoT is about the SQL Server that you were talking about. SQL Server shouldn't be your first layer when you think in storing data. Maybe you can use, for example, the stream analytics and save it to SQL Server, but you don't have to have all data saved to SQL Server. You have to use multiple things to save it. NoSQL is a good one because you have a good throughput when you take some large sensor data from the field. So
exactly.
you have always to think about the architecture to not think about one technology. Think about the solution. You need a SQL Server, yeah, you need it because sometimes you have to use it for data warehousing, or sometimes we are using SQL Server, for example, Armando, to integrate with the ERP software here, and we have to save some data on that. But it's more we have to apply a filter on the data and put it on a stage, and then we put it on the SQL Server.
Exactly. Yeah, the great point. It's like you said, SQL and Cosmos and any storage place is like the back end of this. So, or staging area. So data will flow from the streams into there, and from there to whatever visualization we want to have, whatever analysis we want to have. And your point is very important, especially in between the streams and the stage storage. You have to answer the question: what's the final grain that I want to have?
Yeah.
Do I really have to keep all the data that comes, every single package that comes from the sensors or whatever source it is, or can my intelligence in between the stream and the stage be applied in here, right?
And for example, when we talk about that, the Azure Functions, it's a great friend on that because the cost is very, very, very low, and you can apply some intelligence on that. So I can plug it on one endpoint at my IoT Hub. When it does the ingestion of data, I can process it and then define the things that I have to do. The next steps, for example, if I have to handle this, if I have to store this, we are using a lot of Azure Functions here because the cost is very low and we have a good power using that.
And here's where you can control the grain, like you said, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to store the stream straight to your storage. You pass through Azure Functions, do your processing, and decide what kind of aggregation if you want to have before actually storing it for further analysis.
Yeah, and it does the same idea as the stream analytics, for example.
Yep. At the end of this, we already have a lot of the solutions we can just customize to visualize the data we have decided to keep. We can either connect straight to the streaming. A lot of people have been talking to, they are not much aware of Power BI has a stream endpoint. Power BI does support streaming, so I can connect data coming from the IoT Hub or some other streaming data and get it to here. A simple example you can find easily on YouTube, for instance, is like when they have someone deploys an application that goes to weather sources like Weather Channel or something like that, and they keep pulling data from there every second and showing information on dashboard. The same strategy can be applied in here, like George said, either to the source, but if you decide to not keep the whole grain, the minimal grain you have, but you aggregate and store to be analyzed further, then you can connect Power BI, for instance, to these sources that has some pre-aggregated data and keep flowing data from there for real-time analysis. And this is a screenshot here we got just as an example where Power BI is not doing a refresh. That's one of the things that people don't like to consider Power BI, because they think Power BI can only do full imports, full data refresh, or at best a query, a direct query to the database to see how the data looks like there. But actually Power BI does support reading data from live streaming and updating the data on the dashboards on live screens, on the live screen. It's a great opportunity to have quick developed and fully customizable dashboards for clients and solutions. This looks really good.
Here is an example of the time series insight that I told before on that slide that we talk about the connection and the telemetry things. Here, as you can see, we have some graphics. We have some. We have one heat map on the top down, on the bottom, and this was made only connecting to the endpoint. That's the highlight of this too, because I don't have to work on that. I don't have to create nothing in that. I just connected to the IoT Hub and said, oh, I want to see the data of the temperature sensor, for example. And here in the bottom, you can see, for example, the time versus message sent. So I can see in the red ones that I have a lot of messages. I have on the green that it's good, some message sent, but oh, there is some spaces here. Yeah, some gaps here that I don't have messages. Maybe my sensor is broken, do not have connection. The connection is not safe, or the password fails, or something happens, and it doesn't send the data to the cloud. So I can use this tool also to manage my device. And what I did, nothing. As when we talk about cloud has the big opportunity to the guys, but that we have some services that we don't have to work to put this on production, or put this on our MVP or something like this. Here you have a whole tool that works perfectly to see data, to see dashboards working very, very well.
And you can create your own visualizations, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it.
It's another great opportunity for developers to create visualizations based on metadata, not just the data that's being streamed, but about the stream itself. And
it's cheap. It's good. It's very, very good.
Yeah, cheap is good.
So this is the opportunity that we want to talk. It's a small amount of time, so we don't have time to do some examples and demos. But
feel free to contact us. We have presented some.
Yeah.
I'm preparing some videos here for YouTube, so keep in contact.
Yeah. This is. I believe we have our email here. Yeah. My Twitter is at Jorge Maia. Armando is on the social network Facebook also. I'm Facebook also. So free to talk with us, to send some questions, and we are here. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. I hope we have enjoyed this presentation. And again, a lot of things for you to research. So sleeves up and let's go and dive into the IoT world. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.